So what happens next between Iran and the mad dog, rabid dog, Israel? This is what I believe is going to happen next. And I'm basing my analysis on my personal experience, my personal encounters, and also a fairly deep understanding of how past wars have panned out. This is what I think will happen next. I think the mad dog, the rabid dog, will attempt to fire off nukes at Iran. I do think so, unfortunately and sadly so. And I don't say that lightly, because a nuke brings untold devastation and pain and suffering. And that is why Iran has taken quite a while to ready its defenses. Iran is ready, is accommodating that possibility. And so it went to the Russians and it asked them to deploy their most up-to-date systems and to make sure that nothing comes through. It even spoke to China and asked them, listen, if we are on the ropes, will you make sure that we don't go down? And China's given them that guarantee that if you are on the ropes, Iran, we will not allow you to fail as a country. So that is why things are taking a while. Iran has not only had to put the defenses in place, but it also had to get political cover from the Russians and from the Chinese. Unfortunately, the useless Sunni Muslim countries around Iran they are useless, completely useless. Turkey, Egypt, Jordan especially. Saudi Arabia, we are hoping that they will choose the right way when the moment of truth comes. It will be better for them, I can tell them that. So that is what takes a while, is for Iran to get its defenses in place. Now here in Africa, when we speak about a sick, dying animal, we always treat them with respect or with the required amount of caution. A sick and dying lion is the most dangerous animal on the prairie, on the Cape, on the highlands, and we need to make sure that we treat them at a distance, right? So we need a stick, we need whatever to keep them at a distance, because their bite is deadly. You see, those dying lions, they can pack a deadly punch. I'm more, like the word a rabid dog when it comes to Israel. But now let's quickly go through the scenario. Let's see what happens if Israel decides to respond, because Iran knows it's not about the Iranian response to the criminal killing of Ismail Haniyeh, the peace negotiator. It's not about the killing of Israel, of that man, in another country. It's about the signal it sends from Israel, from Mad Dog Israel to Iran, that we don't give a damn. And if we take Haniyeh today, we can assassinate the supreme leader tomorrow. And that message is not lost on the Iranians. If they do it to Ismail Haniyeh now, they can do it to any Iranian leader tomorrow. And so Israel, there's no option now anymore. Iran has to take action. And so Iran is going to take very, very severe action. It will be very severe action. It will attack military targets, and it will take out very, very important military targets. It might even take out political targets like the Knesset or whatever. But it's not about that. It's not about that. It's about the response from Israel the next day. Because now Israel has mobilized its companion, its servile companion, its cultist companion, the USA, beholden to its cult, the Zionist cult. And the two of them have decided that they are going to take on Iran. And this is how the table is laid now. Now let's look at the scenario unfolding. First of all, I was in Iran a few months ago, and what I saw there was really, I was blown away by what I saw there with my own eyes. That country, if you think that Gaza is tunnel territory, you ain't seen nothing, my friend. Gaza is tunnel territory, but Iran is tunnel territory to the 10th degree. I mean, I looked in Tehran when I traveled on the metro in Tehran. Normally metros, from what I know, is a metro you go down maybe one level below the street level. And, they have to accommodate the height of a train, and then that is where the metros run. So let's say maybe 30 meters, that kind of depth is what you go down the escalator to get onto a metro. Not so with Iran. In Iran, the metros run 100 meters plus below the surface. You literally go like stairwell or escalator after escalator, and each of them dives about 80 meters. I'm telling you, you're diving 70, 80 meters with every downward roll with those escalators. And when you finally meet the train, it's like you in the belly of the city. And those metros, they cover the entire city. They cover all the corners of Tehran. So you can get anywhere in Tehran using those deep, deep metros. And that's just the metros. There are freeways. There are national freeways. There are unknown secret roads that go across the entirety of Iran that are buried 80, 90, 100 meters below ground. The whole Iran is tunnel territory, my friends. It's the first country in history. It's the first country in history, I believe, and history will bear me out, that has been bold not to withstand earthquakes or not to withstand hurricanes, but to withstand a nuclear assault. Absolutely. That's what I believe. That's what I believe. I believe it's the first country in history that has made a careful study of nuclear, the effect of a nuclear blast, and has prepared itself for such a blast. And although the devastation, the surface devastation will be catastrophic and, like heart-wrenching and painful to say the least, the type of surface damage that such a nuke will do, that one must believe that if the population is given a 10-minute warning or a 15-minute warning, that many, many millions of lives will be saved by virtue of the tunneling, the access to tunnels. And what do we know about Iran's technology about dealing with the nuclear fall-off, with the nuclear radiation? We don't even know if Iran has done any research on clearing nuclear radiation. But I can tell you one thing, my friends. My experience and what I've observed in Iran is that it has probably spent the last 20 years getting ready for Mad Dog Israel or Mad Dog America to assault it with nuclear arms. And one sincerely and hopefully wishes that it never comes to that. But we cannot put it past these mad dogs. We cannot put it past them. All I can say is that I do think Iran has prepared, and not forgetting the bloodshed, the trauma, the immense barbarity of such an assault. I want to add that even if they should get through the defenses, and I do believe they will not get through, I do believe the Russian anti-defenses will stop those bombs coming over Jordan. I believe those bombs are going to be stopped even over Israel and over Jordan. And so the main victims will be Israel and Jordan if Israel shoots off those nuclear weapons. That's my sincere belief, and it's my prayer, in fact, and my hope to God is that if they fire off those nukes, that they will be taken off over Israel or over Jordan or over Egypt. So even, let's say on the outside chance some of those get through, I believe Iran could actually still pack a kill shot even after being assaulted by nukes. I truly believe that Iran can end Israel even after taking a nuclear hit. That's what I believe from what I've seen. And I think Iran has got enough it has enough conventional weapons, but also nuclear if necessary. I think Iran can, at a minute's notice, put together a nuclear weapon. In which case, Israel will fire off, and it will not fire a kill shot. Iran is very big, the country is very wide, the land is very mountainous, there's an infinity of tunnels, very deep tunnels. Its weapons are located at the deepest level of those tunnels. There's no Western weapon, there's no American weapon, there's no Israeli weapon that can attack or disable weapons 300, 400 meters underground. So Iran will pack a punch even after being assaulted on the counter assault from Israel. And then Iran will wipe out Tel Aviv. Now, you by now should know that the political establishment of Israel is a thin sliver of land that surrounds Tel Aviv to the north and the south of that coast. To the north there's a city of Haifa and another port. To the south there's another smaller port. And that is Israel. That is really the brain, the control structure of Israel. The north of Israel is the Galilee. That is the part that borders Lebanon. The south of Israel is Gaza, is a desert. It's the Negev desert. I think it's the Negev desert to the south. And to the east you have the occupied West Bank, which is Palestinian territory. So all it takes for Iran is to eliminate and to obliterate a very thin sliver of land north and south of Tel Aviv, and including Tel Aviv. That's all it will take to eliminate Israel. But let me tell you about Jordan and Egypt. And that will end Israel. That will bring Israel to an end. When Tel Aviv is destroyed, Hezbollah marches in from the north. Hamas breaks the gates out of the Gaza and overruns the Israeli army to the south. Without any power, then military power to project, the Houthis will storm from the south. It is over for Israel. Let me just tell you what happens to Jordan and to Egypt. I like to think of Jordan and Egypt as a fate similar to the fate suffered by Mussolini in the Second World War. Now, Mussolini was also a strong man, loudmouth like Donald Trump, larger-than-life character. And he stood by Hitler, right? He stood by the Axis powers. But as soon as the war really started, and as soon as soldiers entered Italy, as soon as Italians started dying, that guy, Mussolini, was strung up on the nearest lamppost. And he didn't make it past like the first few months of war. And the Italians just simply realized this guy is problems, and they strung him up on the nearest lamppost. I think over a bridge they hung him in one of the Italian cities. And that is definitely what happens to King Mohammed of Jordan and King Al-Sisi from Egypt. As soon as the hot war starts, as soon as the missiles start flying, as soon as the fog of war descends, those two characters, and maybe even that king from Morocco, they are to be strung up on the nearest bridge in their cities. And those countries will be overrun by their populations. So now we have a complicating situation. You have Iran, maybe damaged by nukes, but killing Israel and allowing the Arabs to overrun what is Palestine and re-establishing Palestine. Now you have a situation, Israel is gone, it's wiped off the map. It can now, all it has is its money, and it can pay America to send in more warships to go and fight 300-400 million Arabs now. And the American youngsters, all of them will have to go to the Middle East now and go and die like the Nazis used to die for the rich bankers of Wall Street. Now it will take the Americans to go and die for these rich bankers, because they are really the power behind Israel, is the super powerful tycoons, the oligarchs of America. That is Israel's real power. And now America will have to go and fight a war in the Middle East. But remember, as I said earlier, China has indicated that it has Iran's back. Now, without this naval base or whatever called Israel in the Middle East, China can become a lot more projective of its power. Now America is facing Iran, severely damaged, but in a process of recovery. Jordan, Egypt, all of these countries now have switched sides. They are now throwing their weight in with Russia, China. And now it becomes a Middle East between America, who is not in the best of shapes right now, to confront the Arabs, backed by China and by Russia. Remember, when the nuke genie is out of the box, it becomes so much easier for North Korea also to give a body blow to America, because they have license. They have license now. Russia has license, because if Israel uses nukes, it's yesterday's news. And so they have license to go and make it sort of normal to shoot nukes into Europe, for North Korea to shoot nukes across the ocean into China, into Japan, and into the west coast of America. And so, my friends, it's a very, very bloody and destructive conflict. But I'm worried, and I'm very scared, and I'm almost like sort of hoping it wasn't like this. But this is the path that Israel has chosen to bring the entire Western world to an end, because America will not survive that war. And because America will not survive, Western Europe will not survive, Britain will not survive, and new powers will populate the earth. And all of that because Mad Dog Israel and its Zionist cult was controlling America and bringing America to get involved in its disastrous and bellicose adventures in the Middle East.